You know, in everyone's life, there comes a time when, following a period of reflection and quiet contemplation, that you just have to hold your hands up, apologize, and admit that you've made a giant administrative cock up. Several months ago, after the teaser trailer of Alien Romulus dropped, I released a video which listed several reasons why I was hyped about Alien Romulus. From the trailer, it appeared this movie was going back to the horror roots of the first Alien movie. I was excited by the addition of writer and director Fede Alvarez. I had enjoyed his previous horror projects, like 2013's remake of The Evil Dead, and also Don't Breathe. I thought that Fede Alvarez was the man to breathe new life into an Alien franchise which looked dead and buried following the absolute shower of shit that was Alien Covenant. So were the predictions in my video correct? Is Alien Romulus the saviour of the Alien franchise? Well, no, not really. At least not in my opinion. To be honest, this movie was pretty awful. The film itself takes place after the events of 1979's Alien. It starts on a mining colony where there is no sun and miners are forced to work in life-endangering conditions for the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. This is where we are introduced to Rain and her childhood friend Andy, who happens to be an android.
I prefer the term artificial person myself.
Anyway, Rain has fulfilled her 12,000-hour contract with the mining company, despite the fact that she looks like she's about 12 years old and hasn't worked a day in her life. Now, having paid her dues, she's supposed to go and live on a paradise planet, but those dastardly bastards at Weyland-Yutani have reneged on the deal. Luckily, however, her friends who are hungry to become alien fodder have discovered a floating abandoned space station hovering above the surface of the planet, which has the necessary cryogenic equipment which will allow them to escape. Unfortunately and predictably, when our young group of explorers land on the space station, they discover it isn't as abandoned as they first anticipated. Cue lots of screaming, jump scares, as this collection of drooling whiners are slowly and methodically bumped off one by one in gruesomely elaborate circumstances. It's all very predictable. The whole thing feels a little bit like a teen slasher movie. None of the characters are particularly interesting or likeable. In fact, it's probably the first Alien movie where I was actually rooting for the Xenomorph. Although Alien Romulus isn't completely terrible, for example, some of the practical effects are good, the main problem is we've seen all of this before. Literally. This story has absolutely nothing original in it, and Fede Alvarez seems content just to rip off dialogue and scenes directly from earlier movies. I mean, why? What were they expecting? Huge cheers when Andy the android delivers the "Get away from her, you bitch" line? There seems to be a lot of this now in cinema and TV shows. Is the quality of script writing so bad that writers can't come up with anything original anymore? We also got the carbon copy of the pulse rifle training scene from Aliens. I also didn't like the addition of the crappy Ian Holm CGI character. I just found the whole thing rather ghoulish and completely unnecessary. It's just unashamed fan service and felt like a lazy shortcut. Surely there must be a living actor who can pull off a creepy homicidal android. I know Fede Alvarez has said that it's part of the Alien canon that these androids would all have similar faces. However, this makes no sense to me. Remember the first Alien film? The crew of the Nostromo didn't even know that Ash was an android. Surely they would have put two and two together if they had seen hundreds of people looking like Ian Holm walking around. Also, why does the Ash character deliver the same menacing line as his counterpart from the first film? If I wanted to watch Ian Holm deliver that line, I'd have saved myself a trip to the cinema and watched the original film from 1979. To be honest, it didn't even look much like Ian Holm, and it was clearly just bad CGI. Even the ending of Alien Romulus was a carbon copy of Alien Resurrection, with the birthing of a humanoid xenomorph hybrid. I'm not even sure why the hybrid was doing a feeble impression of Jared Nomak from Blade 2. There were also some glaring plot holes in this movie. For example, it isn't really explained why the space station has been left derelict and why no one has bothered to try and salvage it, especially given the precious cargo it contains. I also don't understand why this group of teenagers have been given access to a spaceship capable of interstellar travel. Also, why has Rain never seen the sun before if her pals can just take her for a spin into the atmosphere so she can see it? Also, why are the facehuggers completely useless one minute? They can be batted away like a tennis ball, and then the next moment they're breaking through reinforced glass. My biggest gripe about the movie was that the Xenomorph wasn't even the main story arc of the film. The movie was really about Rain and her toy robot Andy. It felt like I was watching a violent version of Toy Story. Rain thinks she's outgrown her toy robot, and the aliens are just merely something thrown higgledy-piggledy into the storyline as a hardship to test their relationship. To be honest, I think they should end the Alien franchise now, as they seem completely incapable of doing anything new with it. It was just more of the same. Unfortunately, I think they'll continue churning out these substandard movies because they continue to make money.